One thing I'm learning is this. When the spirit starts to rearrange or shift, your life doesn't always rearrange or shift with it. And that space and that gap between who you're becoming and the world you're still living in, that's where grounding matters.
Don't let it roll away, roll away, roll away, roll away. Stay tuned, we got a lot to say. Consistently rolling.
Welcome back, you guys. This is Consistently Rolling, and I am Leisha. Happy New Year to those who celebrate it now and will return to it again when the springtime comes. See, when your spirit starts evolving, you begin noticing things before you can even explain them. Like your emotions move differently, your tolerance is shifted, and your reactions soften or they even sharpen. Things that used to make sense, it doesn't land the same anymore. And it's not that something's wrong, it's that your inner world shifted. And it's before your outer world could catch up to it. See, awakening is that spark, but grounding is what keeps you from burning out. And grounding, it isn't new. Every ancient system taught this. African tradition said that you can't rise without rooting. Indigenous cultures, they talk about how the body must return to the earth before the spirit can walk forward. Hebrews taught that renewing the mind requires stability. And Kemetic teachings, they always said that balance is the first law of creation. Even in Eastern traditions, they talk about how spirit without grounding becomes an illusion. So, no matter the culture, no matter the lineage, every tradition agrees. You have to ground to stay connected while your spirit evolves faster than your life ever catches up to it. See, before your mind understands the shift, your body, it feels it. It feels that tension in your chest, those restless nights, the sudden exhaustion, a craving for silence, and even that pull towards nature or maybe water may be calling you. See, these aren't moods. These are messages. And in almost every tradition, the body was the first messenger. See, your body tells you when your spirit is moving. And grounding is how you answer back. See, what we don't realize is this. Our environment evolves with us all the time. See, when your spirit is shifting, your space starts to speak louder. You know that clutter feels heavier. The noise hits sharper. Certain rooms feel just crowded and certain corners feel forgotten. That's why almost every spiritual system practices some type of cleansing. They use water, smoke, salt, sound, prayer, and even intention. Grounding isn't just internal, it's the atmosphere you live in. It's the vibration your home holds when your inner world starts rearranging itself. And at some point in the evolution process, you feel the stretch, between who you used to be and who you're becoming. Your old patterns, they don't fit anymore. Your old reactions feel off, and your old ways of coping feels different. It feels heavy. And it's not because you're failing at all, but it's because you've outgrown the version of who you were, the one that could survive on autopilot. See, in ancient cosmology, they call this the crossing. And also in Hebrew, they thought it was renewing the inner mind. Indigenous wisdom, they talk about it's returning to self. And in that Eastern philosophy, it's alignment with higher nature. All of these describe the same moment, the moment when the soul stepping out of its old container. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that something that we got to get used to. And this is why grounding is so important. Because grounding isn't about being calm, it's about being connected. Connected to your body, to your breath, this moment, the earth under your feet, and the truth you're learning. It's that version of you that's emerging. That's when awakening happens. The things get louder inside of you. And with grounding, it lowers that noise so that you can hear what's real. See, this is where grounded becomes universal. Because you need stillness, which the ancients sat in silence to hear the ancestors, and indigenous nations use stillness to hear the land. And then there's the breath, where the Eastern teachings saw breath as the reset of the whole nervous system. Then there's order. See, with order, Hebrew tradition taught that God moves where there's order and not perfection. Then we have nature. In Kemetic teachings, connecting the heart to water, and indigenous wisdoms, grounding in soil and stone. That is the part of nature. And with sound, African and native cultures use drums, humming, and vibrations for alignment. With intention, we use prayer, clarity, spoken truth to stabilize the mind as the spirit shifts. See, grounding has never been one thing. It was a rhythm, a way to stay with your body while your spirit grew beyond it. See, you know you're ungrounding when your thoughts, it won't settle. Your emotions spill. Your decisions feel impulsive. Your spirit feels ahead of your body, or your body feels stuck while your spirit is moving. And that, it doesn't mean you're unstable. It means you're evolving. And that's a good thing because your spirit has shifted frequencies, even though your life hasn't caught up to it yet. You see, that gap is where grounding saves you. When grounding is working, see, clarity returns. You start to respond instead of react. You notice instead of absorb. You sit with truth instead of running away from it. And sometimes it's hard, but see, grounding, it brings you back to yourself. And I'm not just talking about the old self or the fearful self, and not even that survival version of you, but it's the aligned one, the one that's awake now, the one that hears the intuition without any confusion. See, here's what grounding can look like. You have the slowness that your spirit needs when it needs space to speak, and that breath work that is for you to lengthen your exhale. And we declutter either one thing, one space, one drawer. We use water, showers, and bath, and even internal washing. Touching the earth like the grass, the soil, the bark, and naming what's real like clarity that calms the bodies and stillness before reacting. It shows your power is returning. Grounding is not a performance, it's a practice. It's not meant to be aesthetic. It's supposed to be alignment, the way that you walk in the path that you're destined to go. And it's not that straight and narrow. It's always that curvy, unwind one. And I got an honest moment for you here. See, when your spirit starts evolving, life will always send you something that tests that version of you that you used to be or that you want to get out of. And it's not to pull you backwards, but to reveal how far your becoming has taken you, or for you to be aware of where you're sitting at right now. See, I had one of these moments just recently. And it wasn't nothing dramatic, just one of those situations where your old reaction rises first and your becoming whispers, I need you to breathe. You're not her anymore. See, sometimes the test comes wrapped in old energy, old patterns, old dynamics, and even old versions of people that you no longer resonate with. And the old you wants to react so bad, but the evolving you, it wants to breathe, it wants to change. And sometimes it sees more clarity than what it needs to. See, that's when grounding becomes real. Grounding is what lets you pause instead of spiral. It responds instead of reacts. It sees the pattern without becoming that pattern. And that's the quiet part of awakening. When your inner work meets your real life. When the world still sees you, or even the old version of you, before you can feel something inside you has shifted. See, that space between who you were and who you're becoming or who you're yet to be. That's where grounding becomes your anchor. If you feel stretched or shattered or pulled between versions of yourself, believe me, you're not broken. You're definitely moving to a different frequency and evolving. See, it's this hallway that you're in between the old and the new. See, that's where grounding becomes your lifeline. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to walk in that alignment. You don't need to be ready, but you definitely need to be rooted. But then there's something else I want to sit with before we close, right? Because grounding isn't only about calm. It's not only about balance. because life will keep you off balance. See, sometimes grounding is about staying present when everything inside you feels like it's too much. There are moments when your spirit is evolving, your emotions are loud, your life feels unstable, and the ground underneath it doesn't feel solid anymore. And when that happens, it's not just discomfort and it's not just stress. It can feel like losing your footing altogether. I don't think we talk about enough about how growth can feel overwhelming, how awakening can feel like pressure, how becoming can happen while things are falling away. And if you don't have something anchoring you, like a breath, a body, a connection, or even a reason, that weight can become really dangerous. See, that's why grounding matters. Not because it fixes everything, but because it keeps you connected when things don't. See, some people don't fall apart loudly. They don't announce it. They don't ask for help in obvious ways. They keep quiet. They get tired. They start pulling inwardly or shutting down. And grounding is often what interrupts that quiet disturbance. It brings you back into your body, back into your breath, and back into the moment. Even if that moment is heavy. Not because the pain is gone, but because you're still here with it. So, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about the part of this journey that doesn't get named enough. You see, the moment when staying feels harder than leaving, when the pain isn't dramatic, it's constant. When people reach edges they never thought they would. This isn't about shock, and it's not even about fear. It's about understanding. It's about compassion. It's about talking honestly about something that affects more people than we care to admit. See, if grounding is what keeps us connected to life, then in the next episode, we're going to talk about understanding what happens when that connection just starts to thin and why it matters that we even talk about it in the first place. So once again, this is Leisha, and this has been another episode of Consistently Rolling. This is where awakening meets real life and becoming meets grounding. It's where real life keeps moving, and so do we. See you next time.
Even when you say that you don't wanna know, some part of you wants it, just reach deep inside. Some part of you knows that there's much more to life. And even if you turn your head to look away, your heart's constantly rolling. If you keep on ignoring, it'll roll away. Don't let it roll away, roll away. Roll away, roll away. Stay tuned, we got a lot to say. Consistently rolling.